Wow, this is history right now. The first ever live Zooch and Wilde show. This is March 19th, special March Madness edition. Whether you're watching today or tomorrow, right before the games, or Friday when it usually comes out, and we may look like idiots from our picks. But Zooch, how are we feeling? How's the bracket? Also, there's just how we feel about Vegas.
Excited for Vegas. The issue I run into with the bracket, which I do every year, and I tell myself I'm not going to do it. What I really should do is just go through the bracket when it comes out. I don't know if I like printing the bracket and writing like who I'm going to pick on like a printed one. Just like looking at the match that way.
I don't have a printer at my house, unfortunately, but that's usually how I like to do it too.
A work printer is used to print multiple brackets. But what I was going to say is I need to just do that and just not look at it again until the first game tips off or you can't change it. Because what I do is second guess like every pick basically, except like the ones in the 15 or the ones in the 2s to win. I'm like, oh, well, Joe Blow on CBS Sports said that Akron hit like 75 threes in the last 4 games. So
yeah, that it makes sense. Or like some team from like it'll be Oral Roberts or something. But also we have a special guest on tonight's podcast, Pete. We have Pistol Pete.
Thank you for having me on.
We have Pistol Pete, our resident gambling expert. Here at Settle Down, the gambling is quite low. Let's just say that it's a lot of losses. So Pete's going to provide some intel on some of the March Madness bets. But honestly, let's just jump right into it. We have a large bracket to go through. I'm excited for this bracket. There's a lot of teams that we've been talking about all year, Zooch. First, but before we start tackling this bracket, how do you look at the bracket? So you guys are seeing how it is, right? Do you go south, then east, then west, or do you just go straight down, then straight down?
I start on the south and do that whole region. Yep. And then go down to whatever region he said was below, west. I do that, and then I go back up to the right and then back down. But what I do, I should reiterate that. I do it, so I go like south, and I pick all just the first round games in the south, then the first round games in the lower, first round games in the right, first round games in the lower right. And then after that, I kind of pick and choose who I'm picking in like certain regions. Like for example, for this one, I would be like, okay, Auburn and Louisville, and then I'll pick Auburn again, and then I might wait on Michigan and Texas A&M or whoever it is I have, and kind of do it that way. But I definitely do all the first round matchups first. I think it's weird to go like left to right.
I can't do the left to right, and I just want to say this: we are doing again the bracket challenge. It is not on CBS. It's over on the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. Link is in Settle Down's bio, on the Instagram, on the TikTok. All you have to do to sign up is enter a bracket and follow the Instagram. It's that simple. We are getting a lot of people out today, which has been really, really awesome to see people joining that today. But we're going to constantly remind you guys throughout this, please, 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 it's free money. We're giving away $100. Just sign up and it's free. It's going to be great. So, you know what else is great? My Alabama State fun fact.
2 Chainz played there.
Yes, 2 Chainz played at Alabama State, but we're going to start in the South. And I mean, like, to save some time, first of all, do you have any 16 or 15s winning? Either you or Pete?
I don't. I think this year the 1s and 2s are especially strong, and the 16, 15s are weaker than most years.
Most years, all right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, we're just spitting facts here. Like, listen, I love a good 16 upset. It's just not on the docket this year.
That's fair.
The 14s, though.
We should talk about, too, I just have to get off my chest. Fans of mid-major schools need to stop bitching when their 10-loss team doesn't get in over a 10-13 loss Power 5, Power 4 school.
Yeah, but where's the fun in that?
Okay. Here, I guess here's my thought process on it. I think like Mountain West, A10. Okay, there's a huge difference, right? Like you have your Big 10, SEC, who like maybe ACC, even though it's like down.
ACC is down. Big 12.
Big 12, the Big East is usually pretty good. Then you have like your Mountain West, your A10, ACC, like the middle level one. But ACC, what I'm saying is ACC's usually got some pretty good teams in it.
Usually they're down.
Okay, 9 times out of 10, the ACC is better than the Mountain West. Is what I'm. And then you have like your Big West, your Big Sky, MEAC, all that type of shit, right? Where it's like one team is getting in. I just don't think you have that much of a leeway when you are a double-digit loss mid-major to get in over Texas, like the Texases of the world. Like the team who got screwed is West Virginia. West Virginia got screwed. I don't
did get screwed. Hey, sometimes you got to go back to go forward. Bring back Mr. DUI himself, Huggins.
Huggy Bear.
Bring back him and Mike Gundy need to link up. Him, Huggins and Gundy. But
also, last thing I'll say, and then we can get into the bracket. People complain about the college football playoff and how it works. It's a way better system than March Madness because you can say the March Madness is the best because like so many teams get in. Yes, I agree. Also, Alabama State is in over like if your beef really, but they won't say it, the mid-major teams, because then they would have to like admit that they're arguing what SEC and Big Ten fans argue when it comes to football. Your beef should be with like Alabama State and Mount St. Mary's and whoever else. Like I don't even like Jackson State almost won the SWAC and didn't win a conference or a game outside of their conference, and they would have been in the tournament. So I know Pete here disagrees, but I think I'm completely fine with Texas and Xavier getting in over Boise State, even though I'm a Boise State fan.
I mean, I feel that.
Fair.
The only team that got screwed was West Virginia. That's the only team that has a legitimate gripe.
Well, they're like governors, like taking it to the courts.
And like
that's what we call, hey, I'm going to try to bump up my numbers before the midterm. Yeah. Lawsuit. It's exactly what that is. But, okay, I finally got a bracket that we can actually make selections. So, Pete, it's actually great you're here because we have someone now to break the tie. I'm just going to go Auburn. I feel like we're all choosing Auburn.
Yeah.
This next one's interesting. Creighton, runner-up in the Big East tournament. Kind of okay. Is it just me, or is Creighton like they're always the bridesmaid but never the bride?
I feel like has been like 27-8 every year of my life and makes it to maybe the Elite Eight.
And they're always a 9 seed. Creighton is always the 8 or 9. It is literally the joke. It's like either Creighton or Seton Hall is always an 8 or a 9.
Seton Hall is 18, and if they aren't 18-13 this year, I'd be shocked.
All right, well, we got Creighton against Louisville. Louisville ACC tournament runner-ups. A lot of people thought Louisville got screwed. A lot of people think they should have been a 6 or a 7 seed. So this is going to be a really, really fun matchup, and it's
also worse because it's the first game of the whole thing. Yeah,
it is,
and I have no idea.
You know, this is going to be that weird game, and no shot's going to be going in. You can already see where my mouse was hovering. I lean Louisville in this game just because I don't quite trust Creighton. I think Creighton's a good team, and I like Louisville's highs better. Now, Louisville can lay an egg. They no pun intended, them being the Cardinal. But
it's also in Lexington, right?
Yes.
That's correct. Yeah.
It'll be a home game for Louisville.
I picked Louisville in my bracket, so.
All right, we're gonna move it along. Pete, what are your opinions on the game?
I agree. I think forget 6 or 7. I thought Louisville could have been as high as a 5 seed. I think they're drastically underseeded. And here's the thing: like underseeding, and this is the March Madness cliche. underseeding teams in March Madness doesn't affect that team. It affects the teams that they play. Like if I'm Auburn, I'm pissed that Louisville's an 8th seed.
That's fair.
All right. Take it from, so we're good.
This next game is a game that I'm really, really looking forward to. And this is a team that, I don't know if you remember, I called them out about a month ago. Watch out for this team. UC San Diego, the Tritons. It's like their first or second year playing Division I basketball. They are crazy. They're like the all-white AAU team that shoots threes and they run fast. And they have like over half of their lineup, over half of their roster shoots above like 35% for threes. They are insane. They also got a tough matchup against a Michigan team that just won the Big Ten tournament. A lot of people think that they were a little bit underseeded. So this is another intriguing matchup. I kind of want your guys' opinions of where you're leaning in this game.
Quick question. You're a California expert.
Yes.
Is UC San Diego the same as the University of San Diego? Or is that two different?
No. So it's very confusing in the San Diego schools. You have UC San Diego, which is a public school, but in the UC system. So California is weird. It has two public university systems, California state schools and the University of California schools. Kind of think University of Idaho versus Boise State and Idaho State. You know how University of Idaho operates as its own thing, and then the state schools, Boise State and Idaho State, are a little more like conjoined. But since California is so big, there's like multiple of them. But yeah, there's UC San Diego, which is like kind of along the coast in La Jolla. It's a really good school. It's almost like a bunch of colleges like put together. Like it's weird. Like everyone, like it's very like compartmentalized within like your own major at that school. I would say SDSU. Everyone knows SDSU, and then University of San Diego is the smaller public Christian school. That still really good. And UC San Diego and University of San Diego are pretty close to each other. Like they're both kind of close to the beach, kind of close to Pacific Beach. So yeah, want to get your guys' thoughts on this game.
Since everyone's picking UC San Diego, I picked Michigan.
I like UC San Diego. Michigan turns the ball over a ton. UC San Diego is like top 20 in the country in steals and turnovers forced per game. I think I like UC San Diego here.
I can't hop off the wagon now. I'm going UC San Diego for the same reason, but offensively, I think the key for Cinderellas in March Madness is being able to be explosive on the threes and having one or two guys get hot. That reason I'm going UC San Diego. Although I also did think to fade them a little bit because everyone's picking them. Moving on to Texas A&M versus Yale. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they think this matchup is between two teams whose alumni has been responsible for the most wartime deaths out of any matchup ever in history, with a couple presidents coming from Yale and like the most Medal of Honors like for any like college in the country in Texas A&M.
This is the drone strike matchup.
Yes, this is the drone strike matchup. This is one of those matchups where I'm leaning Texas A&M in this just because I have my upsets in different spots in the bracket, if I'm being honest with you. I know Yale's good. I know that coach for Yale's been there forever, and he probably should get a bigger job offer. But I lean Texas A&M just because SEC, like what they did in the tournament, I feel like they were kind of in that top 25, top 30 range all year, kind of keeping it consistent, leaning the Aggies in this one.
I picked Texas A&M. I feel like that little part right there, that 5-12 and 4-13, that the winners play each other, is where a lot of people are going to be picking the 12 and 13, and that usually means one of them. It's like it sometimes means they both win and people are right, but also it sometimes means that one of those two is going to get absolutely obliterated. And I guess we'll see. I have not watched Yale. The first time I watched Yale play basketball this year was whenever they played the championship game of their conference tournament, which was like Saturday.
Really, that's funny. That's really, really funny. All right. We're going to go on to Ole Miss versus, I guess we have a team now, North Carolina. I was so torn. I was Ole Miss all the way, and then I saw how North Carolina played last night as of this recording. I'm split on this game, honestly. I think I gave it – don't kill me, Zooch, sorry. I think I'm going North Carolina. I think they got one more in them. I think they got one more FU to everyone in them in this game. But then another part.
Ask.
So Pete, you're going to have to break the tie on this. Pete, you're going to have to break the tie.
Almost every year, there's a team from the first four that wins a second game.
And it's Texas. So
tread carefully. Zach is right. It's not North Carolina. There's a reason that everyone was complaining about North Carolina being in. Listen, great offensive performance last night. That was a flash in the pan. Ole Miss is going to take this one.
Boom, we got this. All right. Iowa State versus Lipscomb. I don't know much about Lipscomb other than my buddy Ike used to play baseball there. It's in Nashville. This is I just go Iowa State automatically. Maybe Lipscomb does something. This is like the games in the tournament where you're picking, where it's just like I'm not.
It's worth pointing out that Iowa State has 3 of their top players injured.
Did not know that.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Lipscomb's a live dog here, but you got to pick Iowa State just for the value. But Lipscomb's a live dog here. Don't be shocked.
All right. I wish you could put an asterisk right there.
Got to play Lipscomb to go to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, this is just an all-time differing fan bases matchup right here if this happens. As well as this one right here, Marquette, New Mexico. This is a game that a lot of the real ball heads are excited about. You got Shaka Smart, his psychopath ass, versus Richard Pitino and his psychotic Vaseline lips.
Have you realized, and this is another funny thing about a college, like the tournament, what is the farthest Shaka Smart has gotten in the tournament since they made the Final Four run like 15 years ago?
Want to say this just the Sweet 16. I feel like
that's what I'm thinking. Because he absolutely
because this guy
Texas.
talked about.
I'm a huge Shaka head.
Oh, I just got a call. This guy talked about Havoc defense for like 40 years.
Listen, I'm a huge Shaka fan. I love Havoc defense. I'm down on the Mountain West. I'm not picking many Mountain West schools in my bracket.
I feel like, well, New Mexico is not Mountain West. I'm leaning. I feel like this is the one game that Dent just goes off. Like this is his one where like he can really kind of explode and show. I also feel like in the tournament, there's always like one player who you think's going to make a run. It's like, oh my gosh, like what a great first game he had, like Jack Golke last year, or like John Morant. They're like, oh my gosh, like here's the Cinderella team, and then like I'll see in that next game they just get obliterated. But I'm going New Mexico this match.
New Mexico's in that weird spot too. I feel like that, and it doesn't happen as much to Power 4 schools, but New Mexico pretty much rolled for a large majority of the season. I know they lost to BSU, but when did they lose before that? I guess it was us, right? They lost to us. That's their like last 2 losses. But I feel like a lot of these mid-majors like them dominate for a long time and then they lose in the conference tournament. People kind of forget, like Colorado State's the darling now of, and granted they're on like an 11-game win streak, which is impressive. I'm not saying it's not, but I feel like it kind of happened with San Diego State last year too, right? Granted, I think they still finished like 3rd or so in the league. And the year they won the national title, I don't know did they win the Mountain West tournament that year? I don't know that they did. That doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm saying is like, I don't know how much in the mid-major ones, like the mid-majors that are a little bit under the Power 5 schools. Like, I don't know if you losing your conference tournament is that big of a deal, I guess. Like, New Mexico was a lock. Like, yeah, they had a couple losses to us or whatever, but they beat us. They destroyed us once. They beat Colorado State pretty bad once. They beat Utah State twice. They beat San Diego State once or twice. So that one's a hard one though too, because I don't know much about Marquette. Like, the rumors are the Big East is down.
Big East. I mean, this is what the rumors are. I mean, don't tell John Fanta, but I'm also going New Mexico. I just like this matchup. In the consistency of time, does anyone have Bryant? Sorry, Bryant, if we offend you.
January, February, Izzo.
January, February is Rothstein. Okay, can we talk about how fired up Rothstein gets over like a 16 versus 16? That guy.
Can we talk about how great that Alabama State game was last night?
It was pretty solid. It was the Hail Mary pass, like just fumbling around. All right. Anyone got a fun fact on this game? Because I'm going to Florida. It's kind of automatic. Everyone good with that?
Creepy coach will win.
Norfolk State upset Missouri when they were a 15 seed, and one of the biggest upsets in Vegas March Madness history, bigger than even the UMBC, according to Vegas.
I remember that because I had Duke and Missouri in my Final Four that year, and they both lost to 15 seeds, and I was furious.
That's funny. All right, and now we have an 8 versus 9 matchup that it is intriguing. This is really intriguing. I feel like UConn has the better chance of beating Florida, but part of me thinks that Oklahoma has the upper hand on UConn.
That's what the resident Sooner fan Cody said. He was like, he has seen 2 videos of Dan Hurley and hates him, and watched. We had the SEC tournament on at work, and he saw like 4 minutes of Oklahoma play, and talks about how their guard is a shooter because he made like 2 shots in a row. So we'll go with Oklahoma.
I think I'm going to lean UConn in this, though. I think I trust Mahaney. Whoever that, oh my gosh, who's that white freshman they got? That was a 5-star that came in this year. I like him a lot. I like UConn. I feel like UConn's been there before. I'm going with experience.
Yeah, they've won like 12 straight tournament games, right? So say what you want about Dan Hurley, but the dude knows what he's doing when it comes to the end. You don't win 2 straight national titles and not know what you're doing. So,
in the words of Dan Hurley, I'm the best fucking coach in the country.
He's wrong.
All right. This is another crazy. This is one of the matchups that almost got me to pick a 12 seed too. You got Memphis versus Colorado State. You mentioned earlier 11 wins in a row for Colorado State. Memphis also coming off an American Conference Championship tournament win. I guess this is again one of the ones I'm going to defer to you guys. Like, where are your headspace at for this?
Didn't someone from Memphis get hurt, Pete?
That sounds familiar. I don't exactly.
Just so you know, Pete, we are not huge college basketball heads.
I don't exactly remember someone from Memphis getting hurt, but that sounds familiar. The only thing that sticks out to me about this game is Colorado State is favored by Vegas. And I want to say, I can't remember another time a 12 seed being favored. Like, they're always the trendy upset pick, but to be actual like -2.5 favorites against a 5 seed.
Noted for the sports book, because that's a 21st game. So I will be in a state where it is legal to gamble during that time. So
I didn't know it wasn't in California. I didn't know that like DraftKings you couldn't use it. I did not know that.
No, it's like Idaho. All of the a lot of the states where you have tribal casinos, it's not allowed.
The more you know.
Yeah, but I'm going Memphis in this one. Yard, Beale Street, Yard. So.
Yep.
Shout out my guy 3-6 Mafia. So I'm riding with Memphis. Don't know what you guys are riding with, but I'm riding with Memphis.
I think I picked Colorado State in my bracket, but I don't. I mean,
I lean Memphis.
All right, we're going Memphis. Sweet. Sorry, Zooch. All right. We have the Crab 5, Maryland, versus the for-profit fake university in Grand Canyon. This is another great. The Grand Canyon's always a great matchup. They always play tough. I really like Crab 5, the Maryland. They have the number 1 offense in the country or so. They have the highest scoring starting 5 in the country. And that, I think it's a done in March. I have Maryland going very, very far in my personal bracket. I think March is a time where depth. People always say depth. I think in March it starts to become a little more of a solo game. One or 2 players take over and dominate. Go Maryland, like them. And I just can't morally. I can't choose GCU.
That's fair. I picked Maryland too.
Should we short GCU stock?
We have a special guest. Oh, thank you.
The floors.
I'll wear it.
Yeah, I mean they're super nice. Huh?
Yeah.
I got a bunch of them in my truck.
Okay. Do you have any picks for our podcast, for our show in the tournament?
Basketball
tournament?
Yeah.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is in there. Ole Miss.
We got an Ole Miss going all the way.
Ole Miss going all the way. You know, they say that might be choosing with the heart, not the head, but I respect it.
Oh, thank you.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Bye.
Be careful.
We will. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of special guests here tonight. I thought it was going to be Cody and Sean, but Maryland. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Like Grand Canyon seems like they get there a lot. They travel well. I know we'll probably. This feels like the one, honestly, Diego, that we're just going to hate on Grand Canyon. Then we're going to look like complete and total dork idiots, and Grand Canyon will somehow win and then get obliterated in the next round. That's kind of how it feels.
Grand Canyon stock has been up since they've won their conference. They're up about 1.7% in the last 5 days. So
they actually have a stock you can.
They are a for-profit university. Look up Grand Canyon Education Inc. stock. I swear, I'm not joking. They're a for-profit college. It's crazy. It's literally like it is a fake school.
I have a lot of friends
All
that
right.
went to Grand Canyon.
I feel like I should become a head coach there,
Yeah.
and then like the rules don't apply. So
I like this Grand Canyon team a lot. I'm actually really upset that they drew the crab 5 because I think Maryland has a chance to make it deep.
So
Anyone else?
I'm rolling Maryland. If you guys are,
Yeah,
rolling with Maryland. All right, we have Missouri versus Cody Voisin's favorite team in the tournament after watching 10 minutes of them. Missouri versus Drake. I don't know a lot about Drake. The only thing I know about Drake is that they beat Indiana State last year to keep out Robbie Avila at Indiana State. So I really don't know. I have Missouri winning this game. But again, this is a game like when you get in the tournament. I watch college basketball, but I'm not getting into the nitty gritty like with these two teams. So again, this is just a vibes pick for me. I got upsets elsewhere, and I got to make it up somehow.
We'll throw Drake on there for Cody because I don't want to hear all day at the sports book on Friday that we were idiots for not picking Drake and how he also had St. Mary's in his Final Four. So this is the one he gets.
Hey, come on now. That's some East Bay love right there. All right. In the quickness of time, does anyone have UNC Wilmington, or does anyone have any fun facts about them? Pete, you would be the only one. Anything about UNC Wilmington that we need to know?
UNC Wilmington's a live dog. Like, they're a great rebounding team. Texas Tech has been inconsistent, but I'm rolling with Texas Tech. But that's one of the other ones where I think the 14s are better this year than they are in previous years. But I would be shocked if we don't get at least 1 seed that wins. I just don't know which one it's going to be.
Well, it could be a guy who we're going to be seeing pretty soon right here. Boom. But let's move on to this is a very intriguing. This is why John Rothstein called this the region of prestige. It's because of these two matchups right here. St. John's, Pitino, Self, and Calipari. That's a lot of a lot right there.
Also,
Kansas,
funniest moment I've seen in a while is a player on Arkansas asking Calipari where Providence is.
That is wild. It makes you wonder. I think at 18, I could have at least told you that Providence was like in the East Coast in the Northeast. Like, you know,
his reaction was, it's in the United States.
Yeah. That is funny.
I picked Arkansas. I love Calipari. I think he honestly seems like he actually cares about his players and stuff. So, but then again, Kansas is like preseason number 1, so that scares me a bit.
I go Arkansas just because Kansas has been so disappointing this year. They've just been sad, and they've released sad statements when like fans were like, yeah, just everything about Kansas has been sad this year. And Arkansas, even in their downs, I felt like they've been electric. So I'm going Arkansas on this because I think, you know, Arkansas's got deep valleys, but when they hit those peaks, they can be humming. Going Arkansas. Yeah,
and I mean there's some truth to it. Like the out of conference numbers for the SEC don't lie. What was it, like 67 and 18 or
something like that?
Something wild that they just dominated people outside the league. So Arkansas, St. John's.
Yeah, sorry to jump the gun on that, but yeah, I feel like we all got St. John's. Although Pete, I'm loving these smaller fun facts. Is there anything about Omaha that we should look out for?
I don't got much on Omaha. I like the St. John's squad a lot. So
fair enough. Okay, now we are moving on to the other side of the bracket. Making great time now, fellas. I love this. Getting concise. Duke, the consensus #1 overall. Great game, Mount St. Mary's. You get to hang out. You get to get some more merchandise at the tournament. But
the towel.
Cooper Flag play in round 1.
He should not play in this game.
I don't think he should
not. I do think because of this matchup, he should play in the round of 32. This is, I think, about as toss-up as it gets right here. Baylor, Mississippi State. I think this is a very, very even matchup. So this is a game, again, I based it off vibes. Because I wasn't feeling your Ole Miss Rebels, Zooch, I had to pick Baylor just to give you one above the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs,
so
Chris Jans.
I'm going Baylor, and I just trust the coach for Baylor. He's won a national championship before, so that means something in March to me at least. So I'm going Baylor. Pete, where are your thoughts after this game?
I completely agree with you. I think it's a coin flip. I took Mississippi State just because of the SEC. I just think they've been more battle tested, but it's a true 50-50 coin flip.
All right, well, we'll go 2-1 majority on that game. We have Oregon versus Liberty, the Conference USA champions, versus Oregon. Been sneaky good all year. I did not choose that already, but I mean, I have Oregon in my bracket.
I will not pick Liberty. I will not do it.
I mean, I can't do it either. Liberty, okay, hear me out. If somehow Liberty plays GCU in the national championship game, I swear I will boycott. And you think I'm joking. I will boycott that game.
It would be the worst. Like I said, Oregon, and let's move on.
Oregon, let's move on. All right, but how about Mr. Disappointments themselves? I did not mean to choose that, but we're going to talk about it anyway. The Mr. Disappointments themselves, the Arizona Wildcats. I texted in a group chat earlier. If I ever die, I need Arizona in March to be my pallbearer so they can let me down one more time. So they can let me down one more time. I don't know what it is about Arizona, man, but it feels like, man, who is that one guy they had in
They're the Penn State of college basketball.
I feel like they haven't had a deep run since Stanley Johnson in 2013 or 2012.
They had DeAndre Ayton in 2018.
How far did they go?
They lost in the second round, I think.
Oh, well, that's what he said. They haven't had a deep run.
Yeah.
They don't do anything for me. Although they are playing Akron, so I'm going Zona in the first round. Yeah. I mean, this is easy.
This might be if Caleb Love is good in his 75th year of college basketball, then
my one fun fact about Akron is they do have it's like one of the top 10 fastest paces of play in college basketball. They're a lot of fun.
But doesn't Arizona play fast?
They do. Honestly, the pick in the Arizona Akron game, take the over. I don't know what the number is.
That's going to be a fun game. That's 4:30 on a Friday too. So that is going to be an eyeballs game right there. BYU VCU. I love what VCU is doing, and it pains me because I do love Ryan Odom as a coach, and I do think Max Shulga is a complete pussy. So it pains me to this is one of the upsets I have, VCU over BYU. I think Ryan Odom's fired up. I think he's one of those guys that is coaching to almost get him another job, even though I think he probably has one already locked down. But he's coaching to prove himself, being yo, I can take over a big time program. I'm leaning in VCU. I also don't trust BYU completely, especially over last year's tournament mishap. I felt like they just fell flat again. I feel like they'll fall flat again this year.
Yep, I think I picked BYU in this one because their offense is really good. But it was just a guessing game for me. Haven't watched either team play. So
break the tie, Pete. Break the tie.
I got VCU. I agree with you. I think this VCU is dangerous. Yeah, I really like this team, and I agree. BYU has shown inconsistency this season. You never know which team's going to show up.
All right. Again, this is a Cody
Montana.
Yeah, sorry, Cody. Although I think doesn't Montana have a guy named Money on their team? Someone fact that. Jamie, can you pull that up? I feel like Montana has a guy named Money on their team.
Montana.
While we do that, we have St. Mary's Vanderbilt. I like St. Mary's even as like taking my homerness out of it. So I think Vanderbilt's a team that's a little bit like they were the last SEC school to get in, team to get in. I think they're riding the coattails of some other teams a little bit too much. They're riding the SEC's name brand a little bit too much.
I can confirm Montana has a player named Money Williams on their team.
Yes, Money Williams. That's right. I thought I had that fact. Money Williams on Montana. But I'm leaning St. Mary's. I said put my biases aside, but they got two Granada High School Matadors on the team, Kevin Gadd and Andrew McKeever. So I got to go with my hometown Matadors right there, St. Mary's. I don't know what you guys are leaning.
I think I picked St. Mary's in that one too, I believe, and then I definitely picked Alabama.
I had Vanderbilt, but that's more just St. Mary's just looked horrible against Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference Championship.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like St. Mary's. I was listening to a podcast. It was PMT, and someone said like they had the most St. Mary's season ever. Where like you do well, but you're never in the top 25, and you beat Gonzaga twice, but then you don't win the WCC. It's the most St. Mary's season ever, and then you end up being like a 7 or a 6 seed. St. Mary's just lives within the 5 to 7 range. Of just seeds. That's where they live. We're gonna move on to the last region, and boy, man, I'm all the way back in. I drank the Kool-Aid again with Kelvin Sampson, boys, fellas. I did it again. I did it again, and I'm convincing myself Houston's gonna win it all. You heard it here first. They're my natty pick.
Go Cougars.
Go
what
Cougars.
What are they saying this?
I don't know. All I know is that they're 5 slam and jammer. They're going to be bringing it down, although their offense does kind of scare me at times. Let's move on to the Bulldog matchup. We have Gonzaga versus Georgia. This is an intriguing matchup because Gonzaga, I feel like, is the better team. They have a better offense. But Georgia, this is going to be a skill. It's a classic skill versus athleticism matchup. And this is another one I'm kind of 50-50 on, so I will defer to you guys. How are we feeling about this game?
I played Gonzaga. Gonzaga's made like 10 straight Sweet 16, so.
I went back and forth. At the end of the day, I took Gonzaga. I like how they've been playing as of late. That's mainly it. I just think they're the hotter team right now.
That's fair. We have the Clemson Tigers in another 5 versus 12 matchup. McNeese State, Will Wade. Now, I feel like a lot of people were higher on McNeese State. Will Wade, he just announced he's taking the NC State job. I wonder if that kind of plays into a factor. Will his players play harder knowing that it could be their last game with him, or are they all mentally already checked out?
Yeah, I picked Clemson even before I read all that stuff.
I also had Clemson before all of that other stuff. But it's just interesting because I feel like a lot of people were high on McNeese State. Also, I feel like a lot of people were high on McNeese State just because they want to see that one like student manager go really far, like the guy who like plays like Kodak Black on the boombox before, like as they're walking out.
NIL deals, didn't he?
What's the over under on that guy making the one shining moment cut? It's got to be -500. I mean, like that guy's getting on one shining moment.
He'll be there.
He'll be there.
He'll be at like the very beginning when they like start with like a goofy ass drummer and then move to like the cheerleader slash.
I'm outvoted, but for the record, I have McNeese to the Sweet 16.
Whoa, big time. In this Purdue versus High Point matchup, this is my big upset of the tournament. I have High Point. I don't like the way that Purdue plays. I think they're a worse team than they were last year. Of course, you see that in their seeding. But again, this is another. I can go back and forth with, Purdue plays this kind of way. They play this kind of pace. High Point scores this amount of points. Is this just another vibe? Like, I don't like the way that Purdue generally performs in March. I think High Point. This is just vibes. March Madness is 50% vibe. People can say what they want. They can try to break it down to a science. A lot of it is just feel, and I'm going High Point.
I think you picked High Point too.
I have High Point as well. They shoot the three well. Purdue plays slow. That is your classic recipe for an upset. That's
Texas.
Sweet. Texas. So you guys both have Texas or Xavier?
Yep, whoever I have the play-in winner, and it's looking at Texas is up by 8 points with 14 minutes left. Still a close game, but whoever wins that game, I have beating Illinois.
Boom. All right, Kentucky, Troy. I mean, I have Kentucky. I think Mark Pope's squad gets it done.
Fun fact: Troy was the first school that I got an acceptance letter from when I started applying to schools. Little school in Alabama, the Troy Trojans.
Yeah. They used to have a really good football coach down there. If I'm not mistaken.
They always had
Yeah. Neil something, right? What's
the worst?
What's his name? What's his name? Neil Brown. That's funny. But I got Kentucky. This is a game that we might. I'm just going to select Tennessee, but this is a game I feel like we might have to talk about because I don't know where your guys' heads are at. I'm leaning UCLA in this. I like the way that Mick Cronin coaches his teams, and whether he
throws them all under the bus.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
I like Mick Cronin. I think he's a good coach.
I also think Utah State is ice cold right now. Like they are not. They were good 2 months ago, and I do not like how Utah State's playing at all.
All right, sweet. Well, let's move on. We got the round of 32 now. Let's keep it chugging. Auburn versus Louisville. I got Auburn in this. I mean, they were the number one team for a reason for a while.
Yep.
Anyone speak now or hold your peace.
Louisville will be a live dog. They should have been a 5 seed, but that being said, there's a reason Auburn's the number one player, and there's a reason Jeremiah Broom's going to win Player of the Year or should win Player of the Year.
This is
also one. There is zero chance. No one's talking about this. There is zero chance that Bruce Pearl loses his chance to meet Donald Trump in the round of 32.
Jail. You need to go to jail. God. All right, we're gonna move on to San Diego versus A&M. This is another vibes game. Who knows? Like, this is where I think should we just roll with the Tritons?
Go ahead. I know that's who he wants.
Yeah, listen, UC San Diego all the way, baby.
Sweet. All
Three
right.
players for Iowa State. You said Ole Miss.
Oh no! Whoa! Wait, am I getting outvoted with Iowa State? Do both you guys think Ole Miss could beat an Iowa State team with 3 players out?
Only 3 players are hurt.
Listen, I go back and forth on Iowa State. This is a true 50-50 game for me. You like Iowa State?
I do. I mean, I don't like Ole Miss. That's why I feel like they've kind of.
I don't like Ole Miss either.
All right, then let's go Iowa State.
All right.
Sorry, Zooch. All right, this is going to be a fun matchup right here. We got Patino, Izzo, but it's little Patino. I think this could be. Do you remember when TCU was like a 9 seed a couple years ago, and they played Gonzaga in the round of 32, and it was like a crazy good game, but then Gonzaga ended up coming out on top?
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a similar type game that Michigan State pulls away and ends up winning.
I have. That's a matchup. I think in my bracket that I made, my personal one, I think I had Marquette winning this game, but I think Michigan State would probably beat New Mexico.
That's right.
They probably would beat Marquette too. I don't know why I picked Marquette.
This is an intriguing matchup right here. Florida, UConn. If it happened, this is just I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think.
They would have to deal if Dan Hurley wins this game. He will have comments for the media.
Should we just?
I had UConn winning this, I believe.
I did not, Pete. You got to break the tie.
Listen, I think I agree. This is a really intriguing matchup, but Florida's looked so freaking good. I just can't pick against this Florida team, and UConn has shown that they're inconsistent this year, even with a great coach.
We got the battle of the M's, Memphis versus the Crab Five. Like I said before, I have the Crab Five going very far in this tournament. I'm leaning Maryland.
Yeah, I would pick Maryland in that one.
I concur.
All right.
Texas Tech.
I don't see. This is a game where I have Missouri in my Sweet 16 because I don't like any of the other teams in their quad. I don't like Wilmington, Texas Tech, or Drake. So in this matchup, convince me why Drake could win, and then we'll make them our pick in our share.
That's up to you.
I think Drake is very efficient offensively. They score on a lot of their possessions. That being said, I lean Tech here. I think Tech is just more talented. I think they're deeper. So I lean Texas Tech.
All right, well, we'll go Texas Tech. We'll go Tech.
All right, Arkansas, Calipari.
You think Arkansas is going to win?
I feel like if they can win that first game, if they can beat Kansas, I think Arkansas will win that game. If he can get that monkey that he's had on his back the last few years of Kentucky, Oakland, and
yep.
I don't remember who else. Now more settled down fellas are here. Sorry, Cody, Arkansas. What? Well, we're on a live, so thanks for interrupting.
Sorry.
Oh, you guys are live?
Podcasting.
Oh.
Yeah. We have to record the show live tonight because no one can edit because you guys are going to Vegas. So we're recording it live.
Perfect.
Cody, how you doing?
We're doing fantastic. Mom, I'm going to call you guys back. I'm just messing.
You don't have to go.
Well,
just go upstairs.
I'll be okay. Right back.
Okay, we've this is taking a turn just to throw everyone off.
There have been my dad came earlier and dropped off a hat, so it's been a live with all kinds of stuff. I like Arkansas in this matchup though.
I like St. John's. I think Pitino has the biblical forces behind him, if that makes sense right now. It almost seems Team of Destiny vibes. St. John's, JAWNS.
I'm fine with whoever wins this. Pitino versus Calipari is a hilarious matchup, just on its face.
They can say that they don't hate each other. They would beat each other up if given the chance.
Yeah, the loser, they should just do the most Italian thing ever and be like, loser has to buy the steak dinner for the winner.
And one of them, you know what Calipari should do? He should wear an all black suit.
Yes.
To combat the
the amount of gel in the hairs of these coaches will be.
It'll be pretty insane. Pete, you got to break the tie on this one.
I like St. John's. Did you see on the late night show where they have the song about St. John's now?
Yes, and that honestly almost kept me from picking them. That almost kept me from picking them. There once was a ship.
There once was a ship, man. The Red Storm, man.
No, that song made me want to barf, but luckily for them, I love Rick Pitino too much. He's kind of like Urban if Urban was likable. Let's move on to Duke versus Baylor. I like Duke. We're gonna rock chocolate with Duke. Old Pac-12 matchup right here. Oregon versus Arizona. I think this is the round that Arizona will Arizona it, and Caleb Love will have a 3 for 27.
Yeah, probably. And Oregon's underrated. I picked Oregon in this one.
Sweet.
I had Arizona, but I'm outvoted. So I think it's a close game. I think either team could win it.
VCU versus Wisconsin. So I feel like my head telling me Wisconsin's the better team. They played really well. Big Ten runner-ups. But I'm going strictly off vibes again for VCU.
Do VCU because I had BYU winning against Wisconsin, so I'll roll with your vibes, and
I have VCU as well,
and Alabama.
Okay, I think this game could be closer than a lot of people think, though. Not biased at all. All right, let's move on to Houston Gonzaga. Houston versus Gonzaga.
I can't do it to you. I'll pick Houston. I cannot be there. Wait, let me see. So yeah, this will be a game you're watching at the
Saturday.
We have.
Yeah.
So
you will not see a crash out harder than if Houston loses in round 2. I'm just telling you that right now. You will not see another man crash out harder than I will crash out if Houston loses round 2. You will also not see a cell phone get blown up in group text because I've been telling everyone. I've said, boys, I did it again. In every group chat I'm in, I said, fuck, I did it again. Chose Houston. But Lord forgive me, I'm rolling with Houston. Clemson versus High Point.
Clemson.
I kind of want to choose High Point. Let's get funky.
Let's get funky.
Pete, come on. High Point.
I had McNeese there, so let's go High Point.
You were screaming. Right.
My bad. Listen, I'm getting excited about High Point.
All right, Texas versus Xavier. Texas or Xavier versus Kentucky. I like Mark Pope in this. I think the Sweet 16 is like the perfect like Mark Pope first season. I think that's what I kind of envisioned at the beginning of the year. So I just kind of want to see that to fruition. I got Kentucky in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I had Kentucky in the Sweet 16 in mine.
Yep.
And then I had Tennessee here. Tennessee's underrated.
Did you also have Tennessee, Pete?
I did have Tennessee.
Well, I'm going to put Tennessee.
You have UCLA.
I have UCLA in this. I think this is another kind of weird, funky upset game. It just goes UCLA's way. All right, let's go into the weekend 2 games. Fellas, is this where UC San Diego's run comes to the end?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Unfortunately, I have to agree. And I have Michigan State in my national championship in my personal bracket, so I'm going to go Michigan State.
And that's a great Bruce Pearl versus Tom Izzo in a like who is going to explode, like spontaneously combust versus great.
Florida versus Maryland. I have Maryland in my bracket going really far. So
wow! So you have both the 1 seed SEC teams out and the Sweet 16.
No, I have Auburn. I have Auburn winning.
Oh, sorry. You threw me off when you said you have Michigan State's in the Final Four or in the title.
Yeah, I have Maryland in this game.
You know what? Do Maryland. We're getting funky, so do Maryland.
I like Maryland.
And then once we get to the Final Four, I'll have all of us just run through our personal Final Fours just to kind of see where all of our heads are at. Texas versus St. John's. If this is the matchup, I do like St. John's.
Yeah,
I like St. John's.
Duke, are they still the unstoppable force? I think so.
Yeah, they would beat Oregon,
Yep.
I think.
And then is this where the VCU train comes to the end?
Most likely. This is where you can start having a little bit more chalk, I feel like, and it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I would pick Alabama in that one.
So then Houston.
Ooh,
interesting matchup right here.
Where is that regional at? Or not? Where is that matchup at? That Sweet 16?
This is the Midwest, so this is going to be it won't be in Milwaukee because that's where first round matchup is, but it's somewhere in the Midwest it'll be.
That there would be a war of Tennessee and Kentucky already don't get along, and the loser of this game would have, let's just say the Burnerverse would possibly need to be under extreme surveillance after that game.
All right. We'll go Kentucky. Or Kentucky. Tennessee, Pete, split the tie.
I got Tennessee. I think Tennessee's just the better team right now.
Fair enough. All right, we are in the Elite 8. Auburn versus Michigan State. I don't think Bruce Pearl gets it done. And then I think there would be whisperings of, is he overrated? Because he's only been to the second weekend, I think, once in his career, or twice in his career. I got Michigan State in this matchup.
I just think Auburn, I know they've lost 3 of their last 4, but they were a force for the majority of the year. So I had Auburn. Pete, tiebreak.
I'm with Zach on this one. I think Auburn's just the more talented team. I think when Alabama is playing their best, they're the most talented team in the country from top to bottom.
Fair enough. Maryland versus St. John's.
Rick Pitino in the Final Four after all this. Rick Pitino needs to be in. Rick Pitino, Bruce Pearl.
I have Maryland. I got the Crab 5. Pete, you got to break the tie again.
It's the Crab 5, baby. This Maryland team is stacked.
I love that. Duke versus Alabama. Now, I just chalk this against Duke, but I feel like you guys think do some convincing to me of how Alabama could beat this Duke team.
Outscoring.
I mean, here's the thing. It's Cooper Flag 100%. Can you guarantee that Cooper Flag is the Cooper Flag of 2 weeks ago? Because if you can't, I think Alabama is better than injured Cooper Flag and the rest of the supporting cast. I think Alabama, top to bottom, was the second most talented team in the SEC, despite being the 2 seed.
We'll roll with the 2 seed here. Then we have Houston versus Tennessee. Lord forgive me. I have to go Houston.
You got to go Houston.
Love that. All right. So this is our kind of, I like this group thought collective Final Four. I think that's a respectable one right there.
I got to see who I'm subject to change Final Four, but my Final Four right now is.
Yeah, what is your Final Four?
Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee.
Pete, what is your Final Four?
Oh, I have this is actually super close to mine. I have Auburn, Maryland, Alabama, and I think I have, can you scroll down a little bit? I don't have Houston.
Do you have Gonzaga?
No. I have Tennessee. I have Auburn, Maryland, Alabama, Tennessee.
I have Michigan State.
Anybody here?
I have Michigan State, Maryland, Duke, Houston.
That's your Final Four?
Yes, Michigan State, Maryland, Duke, Houston.
Disgusting.
How is that disgusting?
You got Michigan State in your Final Four? They're out second round, pal. They're out first round, matter of fact.
Against who? You got them losing to Richard Pitino.
You're right in the Houston. You're going to get disappointed yet again. You're going to get disappointed.
Are you talking about Houston again? Don't talk about my Cougars like that, Cody.
I will.
Don't talk about Kelvin Sampson like that.
Yeah.
He plays tough, man.
Fake Big 12 team. They're fake.
Fake Big 12. Okay. Fake SEC school's going to lose to a football program in the first round.
Yeah, whatever, Cal. You guys got that standout from Indiana. Hopefully that works out for you.
I bet it will. It will.
Who's my Final Four? Something reasonable.
You had St. Mary's in your.
I have to put a sicko home state team in there. You know. I have to.
Who are your other three?
You know, St. Mary's is losing in the first round, right?
No way.
No way.
They always make it past the first round, and then afterwards it's bad. I have Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, and St. Mary's.
Okay,
I mean, besides St. Mary's, that's.
I got to do it, Pete. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
So okay, there's what? How many of us? 3, 4, 5 of us now. Mm-hmm. All right, Auburn versus Maryland.
I got Auburn.
I got Auburn.
I got Maryland.
That big man, dude. That guy is
good.
Auburn.
Auburn. All right. Alabama, Houston. Oh my gosh! No,
Sicko pick 1-1.
It is an Auburn, Alabama national championship.
That's who I have in the national championship. Auburn, Alabama.
Roll Tide.
I'm going to take Alex on this one. Just
talk about the Burner versus Zooch.
Yeah, that would be.
That would not be good.
We're going to get the guy on Alabama last year who was at the scene of a murder and the Bruce Pearl accusations this year. It's not going to be good. It's
like that one actually is like won't be like Kentucky, Tennessee would be like a funny Burnerverse thing. I think Alabama, Auburn could turn like bad very bad very quickly.
Well, and just hear me out on this. If it ends up being Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, and Florida, all like. You might have to after the January 6th thing where they put up all the gates at the Capitol, you might have to separate hotels,
rearrange some stuff. Yeah. Tennessee's not bad, dude. I like Ziegler, that little dude. How tall is he? He can't be more than 6 foot. You know who I'm talking about, Diego? He's a small dude. He can shoot from anywhere. That guy's money.
Do it. Do Alabama and Auburn.
All right, we got Alabama, Auburn.
That would be a great national title.
I think this one, I think Auburn would win. I can't have Rico Bosco win a national championship.
Yeah.
If it is Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee in the final.
If Auburn wins the national championship against Alabama that football season, there will be riots at the stadium for football. There will be. Greg is going to have a come apart if Auburn beats Alabama.
Yeah, he is also Greg. He needs a victory in his life right now. He is.
Yeah, he's
giving up on the NBA, giving up on the NFL. Alabama lost 4 times in football. It is
to my Sooners.
Auburn wins the national title. War Eagle.
I think that's a solid pick, dude. Let's
just say this, and this is the last thing we'll say because I know you guys because we gave our Final Fours. We have our group champion. Again, everyone, if you're watching this, sign up for the Settle Down Bracket Challenge. It's free to enter as long as you're following the Instagram. You just have to be following and then add it to our bracket group, which is in our link in our bio. All I'm saying is that Auburn, Alabama, let's just say there might be a Harvey Updike 2.0 if that happens.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm saying it could happen.
It would. Twitter will be great. That whole I need Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama in the Final Four because Twitter would be unlike nothing we've ever seen. You know, the transfer portal will be open. Like, just it'll be good.
Sipping a drink there, Diego. What are you drinking?
I'm staying hydrated. Some water. It's my old BPM glass.
Well, that's an odd glass. It looks like it's got a coaster on the bottom built in.
Well, it used to be a thermos, and I lost the top, so now it's a cup.
So yeah, that's our thing. I think. Okay, so what I'm gonna do for the roulette thing is, who do we pick to win the national title? Auburn.
Hey, Sean, my dad was.
Yes, I think that was our group.
How many wins does Auburn have right now? And then I'm gonna pick that number as our entrant for the free roulette spin. I'm gonna find out like that. Like if they have 31 wins or whatever it is, I'm gonna go to our thing, and whoever is the 31st entrant will get.
They have 28 wins.
28, so 13. Oh, shit.
Do it tomorrow, though, because I think we still have some people entering. Hopefully, we are so close to our goal of 50. We got to keep pushing.
Yeah. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do a live video of it. And
we are at 43. We are at 43, guys. We are so close to our goal of 50
people. You know, tell them to get in.
Sounds good. I'll let the people in my Survivor game know.
Text the End Zone group chat. I know you guys are best buds. So, all right. Well, I think that's everything for our first solo live. I feel like we didn't have any listeners on here tonight, but it's out there.
No, they'll be listening afterwards. We essentially just did a live recording, got some reps, and if people, they'll listen to it tomorrow or the next day. So it'll be good. But glad we got that. Looking forward to all of the Vegas content we are doing. That'll be fun. What time is your guys' flight tomorrow?
6:05, I think.
Yeah.
Dang, you guys got to be up early. I don't want to keep y'all waiting then, because I know it's 1 hour later on your side. So that being said, please sign up for the bracket challenge. Thank you for listening. Go follow, like, and subscribe as always. But Zooch, anything else?
Nothing else. Enjoy the next 4 days. It's the best part of the tournament. Watch a lot of basketball. Don't do any work. And just don't be that dude who's like, oh, damn it, I almost picked Creighton over Little
That is good advice. All right. With that being said, thank you again. We will see you probably next week. Actually, we'll see you when we do the roulette live on the Instagram, either Friday or Saturday. So peace out.